Wind energy. When discussing wind energy, we often hear and see the words clean and green presented in advertisements and from the wind companies. Most people would prefer to associate themselves with these words, myself included. However, I think they're a little bit misleading. And while there are green elements to wind energy, I don't think it should get a free pass just because of that. In the following, I'm going to discuss some of the problems I see with those claims. Some of the claims commonly seen in advertisements and heard from wind advocates are that wind energy doesn't rely on fossil fuels, there are no harmful emissions, it'll produce cleaner air and water, and it'll ultimately close coal plants. Some of the problems I see with that are that these claims fail to account for several key factors, including the production, transportation, installation, and maintenance of each turbine. In particular, starting with production, each wind turbine requires a great deal of concrete, steel, and precious metals in order to be produced. In particular, one source cites that there are approximately 203 tons of steel in each wind turbine. The precious metals that go into each turbine are often found in countries and mined in countries with less stringent environmental protections as the United States. With all that steel, approximately 70% of steel is made from coal, so you're not getting rid of the base problem as they claim. As for the concrete in each wind turbine, one company cites approximately 360 cubic yards of concrete and 28 tons of reinforcing steel in each turbine. A physicist states that in order to produce the cement in each base produces 250,000 pounds of carbon dioxide alone. While the depths of each base vary, several that I have seen indicate at least the depth of 10 foot of concrete by at least 60 foot wide of concrete. Another factor that's often overlooked with wind turbines is the heavy equipment used, the long distances traveled, and the road damage caused. Our roads are not meant to carry these large weights. Furthermore, the final destination of each turbine is often miles and miles, thousands of miles away from where the parts are produced, so they have to be transported along these long distances, often by large vehicles that rely on diesel and other fossil fuels. Another commonly overlooked problem are the service roads and transmission lines that are required during the production of each turbine. Again, because most of the energy that's produced is sent away to faraway cities, it requires transmission lines that are made up of steel. We have service roads because most turbines are placed in farm fields, so new roads have to be developed. These inputs are often overlooked. Another important part of each wind turbine that's overlooked is the maintenance. Each turbine takes a great deal of oil and coolants to keep them spinning and from overheating. In February of 2016, an 850,000 pound turbine fell in Michigan, only spilling about 25 gallons of fluid, but the company there indicated that the turbine held over 400 gallons of oil. And if that had spilled, you would have had an impact on the water and the people living nearby. Another turbine fell in Scotland in 2011, and 264 gallons of oil spilled out. Some other problems that are often overlooked are the number of birds and bats that are killed by each turbine. While the wind company indicates that these numbers are low compared to other things, there's something that should be accounted for. You also have the issue of potential fires, which could spread to fields and homes. And finally, one of the most important aspects is the land and agricultural destruction. As I showed earlier, the service roads that go to each one of these, each turbine itself, while it doesn't require a great deal of land displacement, when you look at it in the aggregate, it takes up a great deal of land. In conclusion, wind energy claims to be clean and green. These claimed should be more thoroughly analyzed, and I think the wind companies should highlight some of the problems that they overlook.